Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Kick a Ball podcast. I'm a bit of in a different setting, and we're seeing it all on the story posts like over the last couple of weeks. But the interview grind doesn't stop. So I hit up Braden a little bit. We were talking a little bit before. He scored a brace the other day against it was Morris Elite.
FC Koba.
I should know that though too, because you literally sent it to me, and we got it up and everything out, and asked Braden for an interview, and he was willing to come on short notice. So I appreciate the time, Braden, and I'm looking forward to the conversation, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So how's everything going? I mean, Manhattan, you're a Manhattan guy yourself, back with Manhattan Soccer Club after a stint at Syracuse. Tell me a bit about how the USL 2 season has gone for you personally, and just also gelling together with the team.
Yeah, so honestly, the USO2 season's going great. For me personally, I feel like it's been very good for getting my reps over the summer, staying fit, just making sure that, I can come into the season 100% and I can contribute the most to my team. But yeah, I feel like I've developed a lot. The coaching staff are great. They have a lot of trust in me. So yeah, it's been amazing.
So would you say there's been a bit of a change in terms of how you've been utilized at Syracuse and then here with Manhattan? I mean, you've been able to get your starts at Syracuse and you've had your impact felt on the score sheet, but I mean, with Manhattan, you're starting every game. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that you've been used to most of
Yeah.
your life. That's not something that's new, but I mean, I see your shot taking ability. I see how you're able to move on ball. It's been something that's great. And, we got to highlight our ballers. You know what I mean? That's why we got this interview going. But
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think that you've been able to utilize this scheme at Manhattan to the best of your ability?
Honestly, just, making sure I give 100% in training, 100% of the games, connect with my teammates the best I can. Because I feel like the relationships with your teammates, and obviously your coach, it's very important when it comes to playing well because, if they have trust in you, then you can trust yourself to make the right decision and, you know, play to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, huge, very well said. All
Yeah.
right, so I mean, I want to get into just a little bit about like, just your own personal journey. I mean, like we talked about Manhattan kid, going to Syracuse, your entire point up to this point, but I want to leave it to you to tell us your story in soccer. So wherever it starts, whatever your earliest memory is, I mean, I would love to hear as far back as that, and then even, into the time at Syracuse, anything and everything in between that you can remember. I'm here for all of it. What's your footballing story?
Okay, so I guess where it really started was when I was 15. Before that time, I was playing for local clubs in New York, like Manhattan Soccer Club,
Right.
um, New York Stars Premier. That used to be their name. But yeah, when I was 15, I made the big decision after eighth grade to go to the Barca Academy in Arizona instead of going to Fordham Prep, where I was going to go. Yeah, so I made that decision. It was a big decision for me because I was moving away from family, friends for the first time, so I didn't know how it would be. But it was great. I enjoyed it, and I feel like I developed a lot there because it's very isolated from the outside world. So it's very soccer oriented, pure soccer based. So that helped me with my development a lot. And then once it hit quarantine, Corona, basically I was just training every day once I came back to New York. And I feel like that had the biggest impact on my development because it was literally just me and the ball in the field the whole time. And after that, I was fortunate enough to have the chance to play with the new NISA team in New York. Right now, they're not a team anymore, but it was called New Amsterdam FC. I'm not sure if you know who they are,
Yeah.
but I was fortunate enough to go into preseason with them as a 15-year-old,
Mhm.
and it was amazing. I started in the NISA Cup under coach Eric Wijnaldum. Played in the World Cup in 1998.
Right.
So yeah, it was amazing. And then that obviously got me a lot of attention from other clubs in New York, which is where New York City FC came in. So after that, I signed with the academy there. Played there a year. It was great. And after that, I um I decided to like I wanted to see something new. After getting moved to second team training, so I went and signed in Germany, U-19 Bundesliga, for a team called VfL Osnabrück. After going on multiple trials in Europe with teams like Werder Bremen, FC Porto, some very big teams, and I felt like Osnabrück was the best for my development. And you know, I did that and played there a year. Um, I feel like that had a very big impact on my development. And after that, returned to the States, signed with New England Revolution, and was fortunate enough to get moved up to the second team. And yeah, from there I went to Syracuse, and it's just been college from there.
Right. And I mean, you talk about the decision that you had to make to move away from everything that you had known up to that point with the Barcelona Academy. Like I'll go a little further back and then we'll make our like I'll ask you questions along this journey. But I mean, how did the opportunity with the Barca Academy come up? I mean, I know some of the guys that have come from there, Nick Fernandez, who's playing with San Jose in MLS, Dante Williams, standout at Oregon State. And I mean, there are other guys that come to mind that are eluding me right now, but I mean, firstly, how did that come up? And then what ultimately brought you over the edge to, I mean, go full into this soccer, experience that you had? I mean, I kind of took the opposite. I went to Fordham Prep like you were talking about. That was, something that we
Yeah.
talked about. But, just tell me about how the residency academy came up.
Um, Honestly, it was just an idea from my mom. She thought it would be great for me to, try it because I'd never done something like it. And she knew I was very passionate about soccer. So, in October of eighth grade, I went to one of the camps, one of the ID camps, and they said, I played very well. And yeah, from there, I really wanted to go. It was the first thing on my mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, like to make that kind of choice even earlier. I mean, I know some of the guys that I've talked to, like Dante and Nick, they've talked about you having to grow up very quickly at 15, 16, whereas, some of the other guys that end up going to college have always been around. They've got to get that learning curve a little bit later about living alone and having to do a lot for themselves. What were the growing pains for you, if there were any?
Um, Honestly, like I completely agree with what they're saying. But I feel like the true growth was just being independent, Um, you're without your family being present there, and your hometown friends, I feel like you kind of have to take initiative and control of your own life, make sure you stick to a schedule every day to make sure you're developing instead of staying where you are or even decreasing. Um, with football wise and just life wise, So yeah, honestly, just being away from just being independent, I'd say that.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, it's always a huge point, and I think a certain you could come into that independence earlier or later, but it all just depends, I think, on the person. You were definitely ready for it at 15 years old when you first moved into the academy. It was, I mean, huge. And um, I mean, the other thing that you talked about though too was the Nice Nation team with Eric Winalda. I mean, a lot of people know him
Yeah.
from. I forget the name of his show, but it's on Goals TV, and like it's his headline thing where he's just saying his own opinions. Has he
Yeah.
always been a dude that has been very upfront, opinionated, will be someone that tells you how it is? Tell me about being coached by him.
Yeah, he's a guy where, if he has an opinion about something, he sticks to it. He's very confident in his tactics, his opinions and everything. And honestly, I thought he was one of the coaches that I had that developed my confidence the most because he really believed in me from the beginning. And especially as a 15-year-old, when you're surrounded by guys like that, to have
Mhm.
someone like that believe in you, it just feels like amazing. And with him giving me a professional start at 15 is just amazing. Like I was really appreciative about it. Um, from time to time, I do talk to him. But yeah, it was amazing.
I mean, tell me about, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of chance that you got to get noticed. And it's something that, I mean, just a light bulb moment goes off between the club and really between the ears of Eric. Like, what do you think it was that brought you into that kind of environment so early? And you mentioned that this was before the Barca Residency Academy?
Yeah. This was after Barcelona's Academy, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so honestly, I'd say just I had a lot of hunger back then. I felt like a lot of my development happened at Barca, and after seeing that development, it just made me want to push even farther and do the most that I could with soccer that I could.
Right.
So when I was from Barca to the quarantine period to the opportunity with New Amsterdam, I was just like, I want to be the best player I can. And when I got the opportunity to go into preseason with them, I was like, I don't care that I'm 15. I don't care like the guys are 10 years older than me. I'm gonna do my best, and I know I can compete at that level. So
Huge. I
yeah.
mean, like how does being around a professional environment so young impact how you view the college game or how you view even other professional opportunities that will end up coming up? I mean, you finish your freshman year at Syracuse and now, moving on to a West Virginia program that's also very pre-professional for, these soccer players, another huge environment, another huge opportunity that you've got. Um, you know, how does being in a pro environment really starting at 15 years old change how you view these, ACC, Sun Belt kind of schools?
I would say that it obviously matures you as a player at a very young age, and as a person. Just being around guys who have a wife and kids is a lot
Mm,
different than being around teenagers. Um, Level wise, I'd say, um, obviously both levels are very high.
right.
Um, but just being around those guys, obviously like I feel like mostly helped me develop and mature as a person because they see things differently. They've already been through what I've gone through, so
Mm.
they kind of help guide me through that.
Very cool. Yeah, very, very well said. I mean, you got an experience that a lot of people don't tend to have at 20 years old or you're 19 or 20 now.
Funny,
20. Yeah, I mean, just
yeah,
huge. And then I guess my last question, at least on this part of, your own journey is just how does the opportunity come up with Syracuse? I mean, one of those kinds of schools that really does their due diligence and recruiting, has a lot of these kinds of contacts to, I mean, areas, especially like the Barca Residency Academy. Um,
yeah,
and then were there any other schools you entertained? How close were you to making that decision to Syracuse? Give me your insight on your personal recruiting process.
yeah. So basically, what happened with that was I'm not sure if you know about it. It's called MLS Next Flex. It's the big showcase that all the MLS Next teams have. And this is when I was at Revs. Before I was at Revs, I I kind of didn't want to go to college. I'm gonna be honest. I was more focused on the professional route. I was like, I just want to be a pro. I just want to be a pro. But you know, I talked to my parents about it. I became much more open to it because I saw the level and I saw the pathway to pro. So after this, when I went to Revs, I started out playing with the U-19s, and I went to the MLS Next Fest with them, MLS Next Flex in Maryland, and it was just a bunch of showcase games to qualify for playoffs. So it was 3 games, and I played very well. I played amazing. Um, I got I got reached out to by many schools. Schools had interest. Schools like Syracuse, Wake Forest, Penn State, um, schools like that. And I concluded on Syracuse because obviously the history they have with winning the national championship in 2022, and it was also very close to home. Um, and I felt like it would be a fit for me at the time.
Huge. And
Yeah.
I mean, tell me a little bit about for your first experience with the Orange as well.
Yeah. So going into it, For me, I would say it was very different. It was a very positive experience, but from the first day, going into college soccer, it's a very different experience as a freshman. From preseason to the season, having games every 3 days, you're not very used to that. But it was a great experience. I got a lot of minutes. Started. It was for me. I loved it. Made some great relationships, and yeah, also the atmosphere was great. We had some very big turnouts with the fans, so I can only be appreciative of that.
And I know Cornell and Syracuse, they've got a bit of that rivalry connection though too. I know Syracuse, no, yeah, Syracuse hosted the last one.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think it was, yeah, I forget what time of year. I think it was right around Halloween actually, because I
it,
remember the boys heading out and talking about it. And
yeah,
I mean, I'm with the Flint City Bucks right now. I'm in Flint, Michigan right now, and one of the Cornell guys, Weston Carnival, he's out here as well. So I talked to him about just some of the games and everything else. But yeah,
yeah,
that's always a game that Cornell has circled on their calendar, and I'm sure it's the same with Syracuse too.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember that game. It was that rainy day. It
Right.
was a very, really, really rainy day. I think they won 1-0. I remember that being the
Miller with the
score.
winner.
Yeah, it was a late goal, but it was a close game.
Right.
Um, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, huge. And I mean, you're playing against a lot of the top ACC level talent as well, and that comes with being at a program like Syracuse.
Yeah,
What do to maybe peel back a layer in terms of what the day in and day out looks like for you, at least with the Orange, and then whatever that you've been able to see. I know you transferred to West Virginia in
in the
January,
spring,
I
for the
believe.
spring. Yeah.
Got it. So you've had a bit of that experience as well. Like, is there much of a difference when you get to that kind of top echelon level school? Like, if you had to compare the two, what would it look like?
Yeah, so I would say obviously it was different just because of the fact that I was at Syracuse in the fall in season and I was at West Virginia in the spring where it was the spring season, so it was, less games obviously.
Sure.
But I thought so the day to day at Syracuse, I'd say for a normal day, not match day, first would be, wake up, obviously attend your classes. We didn't have morning training there. So it'd be wake up, attend your classes, then we'd have training around 3, um, pre-activation around 2, and throughout the day, obviously, there'd be food available at something we had called the fuel station. So
Mm.
um, it was called grab and go, so we could just go in there whenever, grab whatever food we wanted um, for after training. And then obviously we have lifts, but honestly at Syracuse there weren't as many lifts in the fall just because there was so much stress on our bodies from the games.
Sure.
But yeah, and then obviously for away games at Syracuse we traveled 2 days earlier um, on on the plane or the bus, and yeah,
Yeah.
so it was great. And then I'd say at West Virginia, um, since it was the spring, we trained very early in the morning, 9 a.m. We do a lot of game film. We'd go over tactics a lot. Just we had 8 transfers, so we wanted to get everyone integrated as much as possible. So yeah, and then obviously for game day, um, same sort of routine. You know, we'd we'd activate the for the warm ups. Go to the warm ups, and then obviously play, and then we'd have a day of rest, and then away games, yeah, travel by bus because we didn't have any games that were too far.
Got it. Nice.
Yeah,
All right, dope. Well, I mean, it sounds like it's a decent, area for you to be able to be integrated and get connected with. But um, I want to ask though too, tell me about, you mentioned that there being a lot of transfers that need to integrate into the system, but all you guys, you have to also adjust to the kind of style that these new guys end up coming in with. Is
yeah.
that much of an adjustment because you're all adjusting to the same system, or give me your thoughts on that too.
Well, yeah. So all of our transfers are they're amazing players, you know. So adjusting wasn't too hard just because of how talented everyone is. And obviously, yeah, everyone does bring their own style. Some guys more have more flair. Some guys are very strong players. But regardless, you know, all top players in the country, and I feel like the new guys implementing their styles also makes it easier in a sense because um, you know, the first few weeks we'd see how they express themselves and then obviously we as a team would have the trust in that individual to, you know, do what they do and get the job done to get the win. And it showed because in the spring we had some great results. We beat Wake Forest 2-1, we beat Pitt 2-0, ACC champions, and we beat Georgetown 1-0.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
it's a pretty nice load up and pretty promising for the kinds of people that you've got involved in the organization. Like some huge results you guys got.
Yeah, and then also our coach is just he's very easy to talk to, easy to connect with. So, you know, when you're playing, he makes you feel like you can be free. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing, especially for a young player who's looking to, to continue to develop, but also maybe it's in different things that they're trying new for the first time or things that they're not great at. But that's where having, a fantastic coach that's willing to be able to go back and really support you with those kinds of things, it just pays
Yeah.
dividends.
Yeah. Yeah. It really does.
So I've got to ask, so too, you're joining, we talk about the Cornell and Syracuse rivalry, but, at least in upstate New York, but, you know, between what you're going into now with West Virginia, the West Virginia Marshall rivalry is
Yeah.
something that is huge and something that you're going to be
Yeah.
able to be a part of. That's something that's encapsulated in the entire state. So,
Yeah.
when you think about that and know that it's still a little far, it's still real far away, but that it is something that is going to be a highlight on the season. Like, what goes through your mind when you know that that's a match that's upcoming, not only for conference play, not only for, standings in the national ranking, but this is the state's soccer rivalry.
Yeah. So, yeah, spot on. The rivalry with Marshall is obviously, it's very competitive, and you know, um, we're gonna give our best the whole season.
Mhm.
But especially for Marshall, we are going to play to that final whistle, and I think we're all on the same page with that. Everyone on the team, um, we know that when it comes to Marshall, you know, we we have to show who we are, and yeah, obviously get the win, you know, because we need the, you know, obviously for the ranking and just the bragging rights, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's huge and it means something. It really, really does mean something for you guys. And that's fantastic to see.
yeah, yeah. So I'm really excited, and it's a game that's late in the season.
Mm.
It'll for sure sell out. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. So hopefully we can get the win in front of our fans.
And so help me out. How big of a stadium do you guys have at West Virginia to where, it's no question in mind that this kind of match is going to end up selling out?
Yeah, it's the stadium's huge, field's huge. And you know, I have absolutely no doubt that it's gonna sell out. Last time we played Marshall at home, it was actually the highest attendance that we've ever had. So yeah, in the fall. So I can't even imagine what it's gonna be like this year. Uh, I'm pretty sure it'll be similar, if not even more fans. So yeah,
Can you give me a number so we can figure, it's got to be over. Is the
yeah.
stadium able to hold 10,000? What does a number look like?
I don't I don't remember the exact number, but all I know is that the stands were packed and that there were people all along the sides. I'm not sure though.
Oh, geez. Let me try to find this number actually though, too. But while we're talking about this, okay. So it's a two-level, 1,600 seat stadium that features grass stand bleachers, a spacious five-booth press box, on-site
Yeah,
locker rooms, and so this is me just reading it right off West Virginia. Man, that's
yeah,
it's a huge draw for I mean, a college game, I sometimes there's some pro teams that don't get that much like in some of
Yeah.
these USL environments. So
Yeah, it's
that's a
huge.
nice number.
Yeah.
I mean, so then I guess the other sector, I guess the final thing that I really want to address with you though too, I mean, you haven't been a New York guy for most of your life. You've grown up in the youth systems across the city. And I think you would be a perfect person to be able to speak on, or really whether it's your experience or whether you've got some thoughts on this, but youth soccer in New York City. I mean, specifically Manhattan, but I mean, also whatever else that you know from some of your other guys from around, the city. Um, like, I know you bounced around a few of these other clubs to really just find like your place really in this in the youth system. But you know, what does this look like for you? How do you find your club? How is the typical pathway for young kids to find their club? And what's the family commitment that you, your mom, your dad have had to, you know, really set aside and put pause on certain things to be able to make sure that you were at your practices, your matches, and there for your club?
Yeah. I honestly I feel like, you know, obviously for the younger generation to find the right place for them, it's I feel like it has to be the relationship with the coach and the club has to be very transparent, Um, does the kid play the style of play that I want? How do I see him developing? Do I really believe in him? I just feel like the best place to go and where I've had success is to go to the place where the coach believes in you and he thinks you're that guy, like you're the man.
Mhm.
And obviously, like there's so much talent in New York City, and I can even compare this with my experiences in Germany and playing there for 2 years. That the talent is there. The talent that we have in New York is very much present, and I just feel like individuals and younger kids in New York need to find a place that's going to truly develop them and push them to their potential. So, yeah,
Yeah, and so I gotta ask so too, with the kinds of talent that you've seen in New York, but also in Germany, I mean, if you took where do you think you've seen some of the best players? Do you think it's wide and away Germany between the technical approach that they take with guys that are so young? Or is it the athleticism of some of these Americans that you've seen, some of these New York City kids? I mean, you know,
yeah,
what do you think?
yeah. So, um, I've seen some great talent. In Germany, I would say um, there is one style of play that is very like how do I say it? It's very at a young age they make sure all the kids understand the style of play, and that's being very aggressive, being a perfectionist, making sure everything is very like perfect. And I feel like the mentality there is also much different from American soccer over there. Most of those guys they don't have the college route after, and I
Yeah.
was playing at the highest youth level, youth Bundesliga. So a lot of those guys, where if they don't get signed to the first team, they don't really have like
Mhm.
um, another fair option. Whereas here, uh, the younger kids they can just go to college or do whatever. But I'd always, in my opinion, I think the talent here with the athleticism, just some of the skill that these guys have is just, amazing. So talent wise, I'd say it's very much equal or even some of the guys in the US, like I'd say are much more athletic because we have some freak athletes here.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something that's exciting to hear, man. I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
think you keep bringing in the right coaches and the right programs into these certain areas. I mean, I think the sooner that we continue to put passionate coaches and people who are willing to put the time into these younger kids and willing to be able to develop them at the fullest extent, that's when the US is really going to be able to bring in a lot of the top athletes into soccer as a sport. But yeah, I mean, knowing that there is the talent in cities like New York, where you've got so many different people that you've got to have those kinds of athletes that are somewhere in there. And
Yeah.
it's encouraging to see and to hear, especially for the future.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I
Um,
mean, yeah.
yeah, I feel like on an athletic standpoint, obviously the US, like we have the best athletes in the world,
Mm.
and it goes to show. So yeah, especially playing ACC, West Virginia, like some of these guys are just it's like wow, Even when we do the athletic testing in the beginning of the season, I'd see like how far some of these guys would jump, how high some of them would jump. It was just like it was crazy.
Yeah, huge. So how does that play into your own position? Like tell all of us, your kind of profile, your athletic build, like and how that, maybe parlays into a little bit of the athleticism that you have and how you're
Yeah.
able to, just play to the best of what you've got in your own self.
Yeah. So yeah, personally I would say I'm I'd say I'm pretty fast. I'm a fast guy. So I feel like personally, um, it plays into my position because being fast as a winger, I can, take a big touch in front of me and just be my defender like that, without having to use as much skill, as someone who's not as fast and can actually and has to dribble and like use their full potential of technique to beat a player.
Mhm.
It's just very different. But yeah, I feel like being a fast player as a winger is very helpful for everything, especially making runs in behind, so I can score a lot of goals. Yeah, so I think um, it helps a lot. Yeah,
Huge. And so I guess my last thought, really that I want to bring up, and Braden, I really appreciate you giving me the time to be able to interview you and talk about New York soccer, your kind of play style, but how do you see yourself continuing to develop with West Virginia? What do you think made that program so special for you, to a point where you're willing to commit to them, during
yeah,
the spring, have them during that time? What do you think?
yeah. Well, I had going into the portal. Speaking to West Virginia, I had a very um, positive talk with all of the coaches, and they made it very clear on a certain route of development that they had for me, and where they see me, and how they see my potential. And I really like the coach. They presented everything about the program to me very well, and I only saw positives, and I only saw things that could actually help my development. And we also met a few times throughout the season to, talk about how I'm feeling there, like the new fit. And yeah, like they're doing their best to help me. And they know that my goal is to get drafted in the MLS eventually. And that's my personal goal too. So they're doing everything they can to help me develop so I can reach my goals. And yeah, I'm going to give everything I can for the program. Back, uh, you know, to return the favor for them helping me with my development. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. And I mean, you can only feel just so grateful for the kinds of people that give you that chance, that really do believe in you. Like you were talking about, like Eric Wijnaldum before you, like the Syracuse coaches before you, like even
Yeah,
as far back as the youth coaches that you've had. Just belief in the players, such always a huge thing that, um, will always be something that's a huge part of that kind of player coach relationship.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I feel like a coach's belief in you is probably the most important thing because not only does it give you the opportunity and the platform to play, um, but it also allows you to play with confidence and with to your full potential.
All right then. Well, Braden, I mean, like I said before, I really appreciate you coming on. I've loved the time that, we've been able to talk about your own career and I'm looking forward to everything that's to come. But before we log off, I want to leave you the time in case there's anything that you want to say, in case there's anything that we didn't touch on, to talk about whatever at the end of this time, if you've got anything that comes to mind. But again, I'll leave the floor to you, my man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for having me. That's pretty much all I have to say. I covered pretty much everything that happened throughout my soccer journey. And yeah, I hope to keep continuing the way I do. And yeah, I really like what you guys are doing with Kick a Ball Pod. I've been following. It's amazing. So yeah,
Well, I really appreciate the compliment, man. And I mean, look, we make sure that we always just get the top stories from around the country, the most interesting stories, and you'll always have a supporter in me for just wanting to come on in the first place. So
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the USL2 season and then shortly enough for our third college soccer season that we've been doing this kickball pod stuff for. It's been crazy, but it's been a blast to be able to watch this whole process go.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right,
Yeah.
Braden, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Sounds good. Bye. Thank you.